this underlying Deontic structure and the surface structure procedure. And I provide a formalism in order to accomplish this redesign methodology. This is the way to do. This is a tool to do the way. To do the thing here. And I also provide a tool and an application, a tool and an operational system for the design and verification of control. When you have a control requirement, you can use it for two purposes. Either you use it to guide the designs of the procedure, of new procedure, or you use it as criteria to verify an existing procedure, whether it's enough control. So you can use it to guide the design of new procedure or for verification of existing procedure. The practical contribution of the research includes a tool for Deontic process modeling. We can go to it briefly in the demonstration. A formal basic in a prototype for the driving control requirement. This practitioner can use right now. They can run the system. And the more importantly for me, I think that I provide insight on the Deontic reality and its implication on business operation. This is the key issue. People, by understanding the Deontic structure and the business procedure and the relationship between them, can use them to improve their practice in the design, implementation, development, and use, especially of administrative information system, especially. And they also help them to handle change in the procedure. They can conceptualize change in the Deontic level and change in the control level. So by conceptualizing two components, they can isolate change in each aspect and handle it appropriately. The limitation of the research includes the scope of control. Here, I look at the control on specific transactions. However, for the long-term relationship, especially between banks, for instance, they refer to use the aggregated control. That means by the end of the day or the end of the week, they consolidate the account to see if there are any discrepancy or so. So the thing I'm not yet looking at that issue here, even though it's an interesting issue. The second thing is modeling domain knowledge. Here I assume that certain domain knowledge is stated throughout the execution of a transaction. However, research shows that some kind of domain knowledge, like trust relationship, may change during the execution of a transaction. After some first steps, the trader may increase or decrease the level of trust. This will be a strategy in the future research. And modeling fraud, and here in the research you see, fraud are modeling in Deontic logic and encoder logic. The key thing is I do not incorporate the mental state of agents. However, a good model of fraud may be considered deception. Deception is a false belief about certain event or certain fact. And to apply that kind of thing, we may need the logic of belief, intention, and so forth. And maybe in the future as that kind of thing. So the future research includes knowledge research that try to accomplish or try to overcome the limitation. In the dissertation, for every limitation, I also identify possible solution for future research. If you look at chapter 7, beside every limitation, I suggest a possible solution or possible direction. Besides that, there's a lot of future direction for research, including combining the Deontic process model with other modeling tools in order to model the incremental design. For instance, in UML, they have a set of modeling tools from the use case to activity diagram, to process diagram, and so forth. And here, maybe Deontic process model is one level. We may incorporate with the Deontic activity diagram, Deontic process, and then business process model, and so forth. Actually, in the dissertation, I provide one of the possible combinations in order to model complicated system in an incremental way. Then redesign of the Deontic process. You see here, I suggest the methodology for redesign in slide number 10. It includes 4 steps. Here, I just accomplished the first step. There are a number of research. I and Professor Lee and Professor Dunta work in this area, and this area is empty, remain uncharted. So in the future, I may target to research in more detail. Other application may be verify of the Deontic correctness. When we model the Deontic process here, maybe it's wrong. You see, maybe it's wrong. Maybe there are conflict obligation, conflict right, and so forth. Now here in this research, I assume this is true. So in the future, we can develop some algorithm to verify whether the deontic process model is correct or not in the deontic sense. And we can simulate or monitor the execution of the deontic process. Imagine like when you execute one activity or perform an action, then the screen will pop up for you what obligation you need to fulfill next, what is the deadline, and so forth. Such kind of system may be for the future monitoring of international contract or international transactions. And in terms of control, future research may be look at area-related control that I discussed before, responsive control. That means adding control flexible into the procedure during the execution of the process. Or more important, very interesting issue is to harmonize different controls. You may require differently, I may require differently. How can we negotiate and come to a consensus set of control requirement and control solution? Control requirement here may include the government requirement and so forth. So conclusion. In this research, I have developed a formal method for deriving control requirement and a working prototype. The method comprises 4 steps. Modeling the deontic process. That means capture the domain knowledge and modeling the deontic process. What I do here actually is I provide a formalism to accomplish this task and apply the formalism to model certain examples of international trade procedure. The future research may be considered apply this formalism and apply it to various different domains like government or any other thing. Identify control principle by analyzing the deontic process model rather than adapt principle from accounting or auditing theory. Specify control principle formally in control rule using the technical model checking and implement the deontic process and control rule in a computing environment. And use 14 scenario of international trade procedure to validate the implementation. So if I have time, I go through the demonstration.
You're now at an hour and a half, so half the time is, I think, in the negatives.
We have very useful discussion.
We now are going to open it up to discussion, and I'm going to go around to each of the committee members and give you each a chance to raise questions. Do any of you want to go first?
I think the visitors should go first.
Would you like to?
I think the visitors should go first.
Yeah, and then my name is with A, you see, alphabetically.
Okay. Well, you could say ladies first, then, or alphabetically it would be A, E. All right, Anastasia?
Anastasia. So now what I wanted to ask you, I slipped it in before, but I wanted to hear your take, your opinion, your perspective on testing all of this against actual data sets.
Yes. In the demonstration, for instance, this is a demonstration, and here is one of the data set. Here is the documentary procedure. The data set here is the procedure provided by the International Commercial Commerce. This is the organization that specifies like the rule for international trade. Okay. So I take the model. One of the models very famous for them is the documentary credit, and here is the description of the case.
So he's going to work in this demo. Thanks to you. Thank you for this question.
Right. In order to do a trade transaction between the two parties that do not trust this order, it's very vulnerable for me to pay first, for the seller to deliver good first, or for the buyer to pay first. Right. In that case, may end up that the seller deliver good and end up that cannot get payment. In the same way, if the buyer pay first, then he may end up that he cannot get the good. So how to handle that kind of thing? There is one of the procedure, this very famous procedure in international trade, they call the documentary credit procedure, that handle that kind of thing. In the documentary procedure, the buyer and the seller do not work directly to each other. They go through the bank. For instance, the buyer work with the issuing bank, and the seller work with the confirming bank or either the negotiating bank. I will explain it on later. But the first step is that the seller and the buyer establish a contract, a sale contract. And according to the sale contract, they will pay based on the documentary credit procedure. The second step, the buyer will apply to an issuing bank
Keep
to
this short.
open.
Yeah.
Right.
Keep this short.
Right. Right.
Let's
Okay.
sort of go on to the,
This wasn't
Yeah.
actually my questions. What I had in mind was something like having a collection of actual transactions of the type you are designing, having
Mhm.
the old procedure, the new procedure with the controls, and